What's up, bosses? We're trucking closer to the end of 2020, but we're not done yet. So here's what we have on this week's show. Find out how those COVID relief efforts could impact your taxes. Check out 2 owner-ops who are being recognized for their heroic actions. Learn how many violators have been found since the FMCSA launched the Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse. And we take a look behind the scenes of brokers lifting the curtain on those tactics that they use. Now let's get rolling. Unless you've been living under a rock, you've seen the headlines that a COVID-19 vaccine has been created, approved, and shipped. In fact, after the FDA approved the vaccine on a Friday, injections began rolling out literally this last Monday. This was all possible thanks to Operation Warp Speed, a private-public partnership that was created to manage the ins and outs of the medicine's distribution. Basically, FedEx and UPS were tasked with getting the vaccine out there, with FedEx taking the western US and UPS taking the east. It's all estimated that almost 3 million doses of the vaccine will be shipped, during the peak holiday shipping season no less, so it's safe to say that UPS and FedEx will be pretty busy. And once again, the community is getting what they need thanks to you guys, the trucking industry. Now, Isela, it's been almost a year since the Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse was launched, and the FMCSA says it's been pretty successful so far.
As owner-ops, you all know that it's the end of the year and you have an important task if you want to continue driving. Yes, that's right. It's time to register with the Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse. There have been many failed screenings for several drugs like marijuana, cocaine, amphetamines, and that includes tests that were suspected of cheating. But so far, about 1.3 million drivers have registered with the Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse, which is great. But they would like to see more because they know there are more drivers out there. They also know that many wait for the last minute, but it's very important to register before the January 5th deadline. If you wait until the end, you could possibly be part of the rush and could tax the system. So if you are wanting to keep your CDL, go register now. Let's go to Carlin on broker transparency.
Isela, one of the biggest concerns for drivers, especially owner-operators, is broker transparency. A lot of brokers out there can do some pretty shady things, but there's work being done to hopefully stop all that kind of stuff. Our regulations correspondent Brad Kuhn explains in part 1 of our broker transparency report.
We're talking today with Mike Matusek, Manager of Government Affairs at OIDA, the Owner-Operator Independent Drivers Association. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, Mike, it's been about a year since I've checked in with you, and today I wanted to talk to you about broker transparency.
We submitted a petition to FMCSA, Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, back in May, asking the agency to basically change the existing regulations that deal with broker transparency. We asked for a couple of things specifically. One, that the information required to be provided by brokers to carriers be provided automatically and electronically, would prohibit or mitigate brokers from retaliating against carriers that request this information, which happens today. Electronically, we said, because there are some brokers that make it virtually impossible for carriers to access that information, meaning they might want you to come to their physical location, and if it's a broker out in the on the West Coast and you're based, you're a carrier on the East Coast, it's going to be very difficult for you to go all the way across the country to get that information. You're probably not going to do it. We certainly understand that there are some brokers not thrilled about this. We've seen it in some of the comments, and it's tough to go back. I mean, the existing regulations predate, go back decades. We've seen things brokers say, the legislative history doesn't support what OIDA is saying, and I haven't really seen anything to justify that, though. I've not seen language in conference reports. It's hard to go back 40 years and figure out what legislative intent is. So. But that's our petition in a nutshell, and these issues have been around forever.
What is the law, and how have brokers been getting around it?
The law in 371.3 basically requires brokers to disclose certain information to carriers upon request. I mean, that's essentially what the law says. It's been around a long time. One of the loopholes is brokers requiring carriers to come to their physical location to access the information, and it just is very difficult for a lot of carriers to do that. The other big loophole isn't necessarily, I wouldn't necessarily call it a loophole, but brokers essentially blacklisting carriers that have requested this information in the past. We sent out a bunch of information to our members asking for certain things from them, and it was actually kind of amazing to see how many carriers didn't really want to get involved in this. They agreed with our petition, but didn't want to get involved for fear of retaliation from brokers. Our petition is intended to address some of that by providing this information automatically.
For the Truck Boss Show, I'm Brad Kuhn. I'll see you down the road.
Thanks, Brad. That was just part one of our report. There's just too much info to pack into one show. So hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss it. Now over to Isela, who will tell us about some brave owner-operators.
A couple owner-operator team was on the road when they came up to traffic. William was driving as his wife Becky slept in the sleeper, when he noticed that up ahead were trucks and people running with fire extinguishers. There had been a car wreck involving two vehicles. He ran to help when he noticed one of the drivers was deceased. He then noticed a 10-year-old boy slumped in the floorboard. But before he could save the boy, the flames had to be put out, so he jumped into action. Becky and William stayed with the boy until help arrived. The boy had several broken bones. Becky and William later learned that he had several surgeries, but that he was going to make a full recovery. William, a driver for Titan Transport, has been a driver for 28 years and a team driver with his wife Becky for 20. So now TCA has presented the Gregorys with a certificate recognizing them as Highway Angels of the Road. So kudos to you both for being at the right place at the right time.
So last week we told you guys about some of the ways the COVID-19 relief was going to impact your taxes come April. We told you about the Paycheck Protection Program and borrowing from those retirement accounts. This week we're sticking with PPP and we're adding in the Affordable Care Act, and we're also talking quarterly tax payments. So if you're a user of the Affordable Care Act, you had to estimate your income during open enrollment last year. Now if you received PPP, there's a really good chance that your net income for 2020 was a bit higher, which means you could be disqualified for federal health insurance subsidies and could even owe some money back. However, there are some laws that could change that, so keep an eye out and make sure you're keeping good records. That way you can help prove that the PPP was the cause of the income increase. Now, let's talk tax payments. The IRS delayed the April 15th and June 15th deadlines for estimated quarterly tax payments to July 15th. Again, thanks to COVID. If you didn't get caught up then, you need to get caught up by January 15th so you don't get hit with a high interest and a bigger tax bill. Now, as we told you all last week, our friends over at Overdrive made this list, which had 6 tax matters, on it. Now we've covered 4, so there's just 2 left. So be sure to tune in next week so you don't miss them. Now let's shift gears. It's time for our monthly maintenance minute. This month we're talking about something pretty important, alignment, and how it can actually help prevent tire wear.
Hello, David, Rush Truck Center, Oklahoma City, maintenance in a minute. Today's topic's going to be your alignment, something that we don't often think about unless we're having problems, the truck's shimmying, the truck's shaking, it's maybe drifting on lanes, we got something going on under there. Get it into the professionals, people who do this stuff every day. Let us get under there, get our eyes on your front end, see what's going on. You've got all kinds of kingpins, ball joints. You've got stuff under there that if it's loose, we can take care of it. We can get your truck aligned. Saying that, this is something that you're out there every day. This is how you make your livelihood. We want to make it as safe as possible for you and all of the other people out there on the roads. Not to mention the fact, tire wear. It's hard. Tire wear is the worst thing you're going to have. Once it starts that pattern on the tire, it's not coming back. You can rotate your tires to the rear, pull some up to the front if you've got highway tires and not drivers, and try to knock that tire wear out. But if you don't, it's always going to be there. So remember, stay up on your alignments. It's very important for your vehicle and you. David, Rush Truck Center, maintenance in a minute.
Always a lot of great info, so don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss our next one come January. Now, Isela, what else do we have for them?
As you know, I'm a big fan of classic vintage cars and of course, old school Peterbilts. I got to hang out with my good friend Jim Bob, and he gave me a quick tour of his 1971 Peterbilt. Check it out. How's it going? Isela here with the Truck Boss Show with our good friend Jim Bob. Jim Bob, thank you for being with us today on the show. So Jim Bob, I want to talk about your truck.
Okay.
I want to take it back. You tell me what year it is, all the cool stuff that you have.
This truck is a 1971 Peterbilt. It was one of the last little windows that they made. They quit making them in like 72 or 3. This truck is intact pretty well the way it came from the factory. Got a small cam 350, a 13-speed 433 rear ends. The truck went someplace in New Mexico, and a guy bought it, took it to Oklahoma, and the guy died shortly thereafter. And a good friend of mine, Alvy Welch from Inola, Oklahoma, bought this truck, disassembled it, went through it, totally rebuilt it. And I found out he had it, and I went to his house, and I said, either I'm going to move in with you or you're going to sell me the truck. So he sold me the truck. And
I can tell because
yeah,
here it is.
I've had it ever since, yeah.
So you know the history of the truck pretty well.
Yes, I have the bill sheet in the truck.
So now, do you still run it? Do you work it?
No, ma'am. The truck is it's a antique, a classic, if you will. It's insured with Haggerty. If it's insured for stated value, you can't pull a trailer with it. It voids the insurance. So, it in the 3.5 years, it's never had grease on the fifth wheel. It sits inside a new shop that I built, and we just go to truck shows with it.
So can we check out the truck?
Absolutely.
I want to see the inside
Absolutely.
and all.
The real Peterbilt green material. You can't buy this material anymore. I've done some things to this, but mostly he did it all. I don't deserve
You don't
any.
want to take the credit.
I don't deserve any credit for the bling and some of the shiny, and yeah, but he built this truck, and he did a wonderful job.
So what you got over here?
I didn't know that they put air ride suspension on these trucks in '71,
Okay.
but this truck came with air ride suspension, which is a big plus to me because it actually rides decent. If it was on springs, it would be a very choppy truck, but this, like I said, this truck hadn't been cut. There's no late model rear ends, no late model frame, no anything. This truck is about original as you can get.
Well, Jim Bob, I really do appreciate you taking
You're welcome.
the time to show us your awesome truck. Love it.
Thank you.
Well, Carlin, that was an awesome truck. You already know I love me some vintage and old school trucks, and those Peterbilts, man, just to see how awesome they are, and some of them are still running.
That's right.
And of course, you know, with our friend Jim Bob, you know, if some of the folks that are retired, but they still show up to these truck shows with their trucks and they're chromed out and whatever else that they decided they want to do to the truck, or even just maybe leave it original, that just goes to show how passionate they are.
Exactly. It really shows that they take a lot of pride and a lot of care of these trucks. And it's very cool to see. I think Busted Knuckle has become one of our favorites to go to. And it being, pretty close to home is even better because we can also sneak in there when they're not having a truck show and see what they're working on.
Yeah, because I mean, you already know that one of the things that they do is restore one of their old school Peterbilts. Not that no one else does it, but they particularly focus on a certain model, and I think that's what's cool and unique about them. But everybody knows who they are over at Wilkins Chrome Shop, and I mean, they look forward to the Busted Knuckle truck show just as we did.
Exactly. And speaking of Busted Knuckle, our extra this week, we're going to highlight another one of Sean Gibson's. You may remember him. He was one of our favorites from the show. He had not one, not two, but 4 show trucks in that entire show, and we got to look at all of them. And tomorrow, Friday, we are actually going to be taking a look at his second truck there, and you guys, you're really going to like it. Again, you can tell the pride and the passion that he has for his vehicles, and a lot of those that he got at least 2 of them worked on there at the Oklahoma Truck Supply. So it's really cool to see that, and you guys just need to tune in. It's a really cool story.
Yes, that was pretty awesome. It was. But I mean, we have so much going on, Carlin. Let's talk birthdays. So happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
But whose birthday is it?
It's
I know you know
Tony's.
that. I know you know that because Tony just had a birthday. I think maybe a couple days ago or
it's
something.
Tony's too. I did not realize that we had the same birthday in the week until someone said, "Oh yeah, Tony's birthday is this week," and I was like, "Oh shoot, cool."
Yeah, because he's doing a giveaway or something like that for his birthday, right?
He is. He's doing like I think it's kind of a combination of his birthday and Christmas. He's kind of doing a bundle. So go check out his website. Go check out his Facebook page. You'll get some more details there, and you can definitely see kind of what you can get this year for a bundle price. It's pretty cool to check out.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to gift it to yourself or for a loved one, that's fine. I say gift it to yourself. That's something I would
Exactly.
do.
You might as well get it for yourself. You know you want it,
Of
and
course.
why not, right? Why not?
Yeah. And well, speaking of giveaways, we have our own giveaway, of course. We have our holiday boss box that we do every month. And for this month, we have it's an eagle ornament. Did I say that right? No, it's a hood ornament.
Hood ornament.
I'm
eagle.
thinking Christmas.
Yes.
So it's pretty cool, but it's so simple. We're not asking for much. All we just need just your name, email address, and that way we can pick a winner and you get to get one. I mean, we're going to hook you up for Christmas.
That's right.
I think it
It's
would be
free
nice,
stuff
right?
around Christmas. Everyone loves gifts. So here you go. This is our gift to you guys.
Of course. And well, moving on because we have a lot more coming next week. And of course, we have our Christmas stack hack and also going to get to visit with our friend Trucker G, who's going to be doing something pretty cool for a lot of our truckers out there, showing some love. One thing that I love about him is that him and his wife are always on a mission to do something, help someone, or do something to make somebody feel better, especially for the drivers. Because, they're gone a lot of times away from family, especially in these hard times with everything going on. And then it's the holidays and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those stressful times of the year in a stressful year in general, right? So Trucker G, they're great people. And like Isela said, you're going to want to tune in next week to kind of hear their heartfelt story and kind of what they're doing for the rest of the world out there.
That's right. And that way, you can check out all the other stuff that we're going to be having coming up soon as well. Because, we're coming to the end of the year. And we still have a lot more that's going to be coming up for 2021. Of course, the pandemic has not kept us down, or we're not going to stop or anything like that. We're going to continue to do what we like to do, especially for you guys that are out there. And hopefully that we do, keep you informed and entertained and you enjoy everything that we bring to you. But in order for you to do that, if you're not already following the show, just make sure that you subscribe, you like, you share, you comment, whatever it is. I mean, we appreciate the love.
We do. We can't do this without your guys' help. You guys really helped us out in 2020. We hit a lot of goals, and now we have even more goals for 2021. And we can't keep doing it without you guys. So keep showing us some love. We greatly appreciate it. And Isela, why do we do this?
Because you're the boss.